The Council's collapse. The high chamber of the Triumvirate Council was deathly quiet. 3 empires, Jarathi, Valari, and Threxen, once ruled the stars with the certainty of gods. Their fleets had crushed rebellions, quelled rogue AI uprisings, and extinguished threats before they could speak. But now, in the center of the galaxy, even their combined might trembled. A hollow map shimmered in the air above the council dais, flashing red across dozens of sectors. Entire star systems burned clean. Defense fleets gone. Communications silent. The Zorkai swarm was advancing, and nothing stopped them. This is madness, hissed Archon Velzar of the Jarathi, his chitinous fingers twitching. They destroyed the 7th Armada in less than 8 hours. No formation, no order. They fight like chaos itself. Their biology adapts mid-battle, added Supreme Strategist Yulson of the Valari, her crystallized dim. Every encounter makes them stronger, smarter, and our tactics haven't changed in 1,000 years. Silence again. Someone had to say it. Chancellor Rax of the Threxen finally did. Call in the humans. The room erupted. Voices snarled in disbelief. They're primitives. They lack discipline. They don't understand order. They also haven't lost a single fleet, Rax said coldly. The outer colonies under Terran command are still holding. They've even pushed the swarm back, twice. They are dangerous. They're effective, Rax shot back. And right now, effectiveness is all that matters. Across the galaxy, aboard the retrofitted Terran warship Resolute, Captain Ethan Grayson received his orders. He stood in silence as the message finished decoding. His face, scarred from a Martian insurrection, remained unreadable. Around him, his officers waited, breath held. "Looks like we've been invited to the big table," Grayson finally said, voice like gravel. "The Council wants us on the rim front. Sigma Vale sector." "That sector's lost," Lieutenant Ramos muttered. "The swarm owns it." Grayson turned to face his crew. Human, alien, hybrid. All volunteers. All ready to die if he asked. "Then we're going to remind the galaxy what humans do when we're cornered." He paused. "We fight, and we win." The Resolute jumped into Sigma Vale 3 days later, alone, underpowered and outnumbered. Debris from destroyed Council ships floated in endless fields of metal and blood. Blackened husks of cities twinkled below dying stars. The first transmission came from a Valari outpost commander, still alive planetside. "Terran vessel, turn back. You're not equipped for this." Grayson leaned forward in his chair, voice calm. "Then it's a good thing we don't play by the rules." Welcome to hell. Sigma Vale was worse than the reports. The Resolute dropped from slip space into a dead system, choked with wreckage. Council battleships floated like shattered bones, their hulls carved open by something more organic than mechanical. No signs of life. No beacons. Just a cold, creeping silence. "Status." Captain Grayson barked. "Debris field dense." "Communications jammed," Lieutenant Ramos replied. "Zorkai bioships likely still present, but cloaked." Grayson narrowed his eyes. "Perfect." He stood before the bridge holotable, hands hovering over the projection. Sigma Vale's terrain was chaos. Asteroid fields, a fractured moon, and pockets of radiation storms. For most commanders, it was a nightmare. For Grayson, it was opportunity. "This is where they expect us to fight like the Council," he said to his officers. "Line up in formation. Die one by one. But we're going to do something different." He outlined a plan no alien officer would have approved. Split the fleet. Hide sensor buoys in the asteroid field. Deploy autonomous drones rigged with unstable antimatter cores. Lure the enemy into a false chase, then collapse the ambush. The Terran officers moved immediately. The few Valari and Threxen allies aboard hesitated. "This is madness," one of the Threxen engineers hissed. "Disorder breeds death." Grayson turned to him. "In human wars, disorder kept us alive." Hours later, the trap was set. Zorkai bioships appeared like ripples in space, dark and organic, gliding silently toward the Resolute. They moved with terrifying grace. No engines, no signals, just living war machines. Grayson didn't wait for contact. Cut comms. Pull back. Scatter formation. The Resolute and its sister ships turned and ran. The enemy took the bait. As the swarm pursued, they passed through the mined asteroid field. Drones detonated, bursting into nuclear firestorms. Sensor buoys painted false targets, leading Zorkai ships straight into kill zones. Then came the coup de grace, Grayson's personal creation, the grav collapse. An artificial gravity well was detonated near a fractured moon, triggering a localized debris storm that swallowed the swarm's lead ships. The sky turned to fire. When the dust settled, half the enemy fleet was gone. The rest scattered, disoriented and vulnerable. Grayson stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display blink from red to neutral. Report. 7 swarm ships down. No Terran losses, Ramos said, barely able to believe it. The stunned Valari officer on the bridge spoke up. You defied every known doctrine and won. Grayson looked at him. We're not here to follow doctrine. We're here to survive. Back on the Council's secure channel, a hushed report trickled in. Terran Commander Ethan Grayson repelled swarm incursion at Sigma Vale. Tactical assessment. Result statistically impossible. Recommendation. Observe further. Do not interfere. But interference had already begun. Word was spreading. The humans fought like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. The Grayson Doctrine. The victory at Sigma Vale should have earned Captain Ethan Grayson a commendation. Instead, it earned him scrutiny. A week later, he stood in a council war chamber orbiting Velker Prime, surrounded by ancient admirals who viewed him like a wild dog that had accidentally fetched the right bone. You defied chain of command. You disobeyed engagement protocols, hissed Admiral Korth, his silver-scaled frame towering over the table. Yet somehow, your fleet survives. Grayson didn't flinch, because we stopped fighting like we were playing chess. The Zorkai don't care about rules. Whispers rippled across the chamber. A few younger alien commanders, those who had seen the losses firsthand, nodded. Grayson didn't wait for permission. He tapped the display, bringing up a new strategic model. We adapt. We mislead. We use terrain, deception, unpredictability, chaos, if we have to. That's how we win. You can call it doctrine, but it's really just what humans learn the hard way. He called it the Grayson Doctrine. The room bristled with unease. Council generals were trained for centuries in rigid tactics. They viewed unpredictability as weakness, emotion as failure. But this human, scarred, relentless, and damn near reckless, was winning battles no one else could. Later, aboard the Resolute, Grayson addressed a mixed assembly of officers, Jarathi, Valari, Threxan, and human. Look, he said plainly, I'm not here to rewrite your cultures. I'm here to make sure we're all still breathing next month. The swarm doesn't study your tactics. They evolve past them. So we're going to stop being predictable. He ran them through simulations, dirty ones, kamikaze drones, fake transmissions, weapons disguised as debris. He showed them how to win a battle before it started, by making the enemy think they already had. Many resisted, but some learned. Commander Arel, a young Valari tactician, watched every move. She began adapting Grayson's maneuvers into her own strategies. A Threxan squadron drilled until they could execute a Terran-style feint without needing orders. Others followed. Then came the test, the Battle of Rhino's Pass. Grayson coordinated a strike force of hybrid command, half-human, half-alien captains. The plan was insane by Council standards. Send decoy fleets into the pass while planting false data trail for the swarm to intercept. When the Zorkai attacked what they thought was the main force, Grayson hit them from the flanks with cloaked corvettes hidden in asteroid dust. It worked. Again, casualties, minimal. Enemy losses, total. Council command tried to credit shared efforts, but everyone knew whose fingerprints were on the victory. Back at Council High Command, one Valari admiral whispered to another, "We taught humans how to build ships. We never expected they'd teach us how to win wars." And somewhere in a shadowed council chamber, a warning was spoken aloud. The human factor is destabilizing everything. The turning point. The swarm was adapting, faster than before, deadlier. In the weeks following Rhino's pass, Captain Ethan Grayson saw a disturbing pattern. The Zorkai began mimicking his tactics. Ambushes, feints, misdirection, like a mirror learning to fight back. "They're evolving past us," Lieutenant Ramos said grimly. "No," Grayson replied, staring at the glowing tactical map. "They're evolving into us." That night, as the Resolute drifted through deep space en route to the Eltari brink, a strategic choke point, Grayson did something rare. He hesitated. Not in fear. In calculation. He summoned Commander Arel and his senior officers. "We've reached the edge," he said. "Our tactics, our technology, it's a matter of time before the swarm catches up." "Then what's left?" Arel asked. Grayson leaned forward. "Us." The Battle of the Eltari brink was never meant to be won. The swarm massed nearly 1,000 bioships. Every predictive model said retreat. Even the Council ordered withdrawal. Grayson ignored them. He broadcast a single message on every frequency. To the Zorkai swarm, "You've faced fleets. You've faced empires. Now face humanity." He knew what he was doing. The Resolute, stripped to its hull plating, was a decoy, wired with a reactor overload. As the swarm advanced, drawn by the signal, Grayson's team triggered false collapses in nearby moons, releasing clouds of charged dust that blinded Zorkai sensory organs. The real fleet, a mix of Council defectors and human-led squadrons, was hidden in the storm. Waiting. Grayson gave the order. What followed wasn't a battle. It was an ambush carved into legend. Mines detonated. Cloaked ships pounced from debris fields. Human Marines boarded bioships, using raw aggression and ingenuity to crack their exoskeletal hulls from the inside. The Zorkai reeled. At the center of it all, the Resolute rammed the enemy's command node, Grayson still aboard. The ship exploded in a blinding starburst, crippling the swarm's neural relay. With it, the entire swarm convulsed, lost cohesion, and fell into disarray. Hours later, it was over. Against all odds, the humans and their allies had won. Back on Velker Prime, the Council stood in stunned silence as reports poured in. "Grayson is dead," a Threxan general whispered. "He gave everything." "No," Commander Arel said, stepping forward. "He gave us a new way to fight." Weeks passed. The swarm retreated from key sectors. Humanity was no longer a footnote in the Council's annals. They were now leaders, teachers. Grayson's tactics were adopted across fleets, his doctrine studied in every war academy. But more than that, something had shifted in the galaxy. Empires once built on control now embraced adaptation. Alien cultures began asking, not how to command, but how to inspire. And somewhere, in the far reaches of space, a small plaque was mounted on a lonely outpost wall. It bore no ornate title, just a Terran phrase etched into alloy. "We fight. We adapt. We survive. Captain Ethan Grayson."